Hey guys, and welcome back to another story time about this series of unfortunate events that happen in my life. I've been wanting to film this story time for such a long time. At this point, it basically happened a year ago. And I wasn't avoiding telling this story for any reason. It's just such an in-depth story, and I knew that it was going to take a lot of effort and thought to actually tell this whole story without getting too heated. This whole story is so crazy and has so many pieces to the puzzle that I'm going to try to get through it as fast as possible. I do not want to sit here filming for the next hour, and I obviously do not want to upload a 45-minute story time. I did write some stuff down because I don't want to forget anything. I don't want to miss any pieces because every single piece of this story is pretty important to not understand why what happened happened. Let's just get into it so I can stop rambling because it's gonna take me a while to tell the whole story. Since this is another kind of exposed video, we're gonna come up with a name for the kid that I was talking to, and we can call him David. Don't really know a David, so that works perfect. Me, Emily, and Danielle went down to Miami for a show a really long time ago when I was still dating my ex-boyfriend. While we were at this show, we met these two guys, David and his friend, and we met them at this show, this EDM show in Miami, and he was trying to talk to me like the whole night, but obviously since I had a boyfriend, I really wasn't giving him the time of day. I wasn't really talking to him, but we hung out like as a group, and they were two really cool guys. Like, they seemed really cool, and they just so happened to also be from where we lived because we don't live in Miami. So they just so happened to have also driven down to that show in Miami from where we all lived, which was so crazy, so ironic. And we ended up hanging out a little bit throughout the night, but it was really them two talking to Danielle and Emily because I kind of just wasn't talking to them that much since I had a boyfriend. Sorry, I'm loyal. Meanwhile, he was cheating on me like basically the whole time. But anywho, that's a different story time, and I've already posted those story times if you want to go check those out. So after we meet them that night, I don't even think I exchanged my social media with them. I'm pretty sure Danielle and Emily did exchange their social media, but I did not. Danielle and Emily ended up going to another pool party the next day in Miami that I did not go to, and David and his friend were also there, and they all hung out that day too. So they were kind of talking way more than me and any of them just because, like I said, I was not putting in much effort to speak to them. Fast forward, I would always see them where I used to work. I used to work at this like bar club type thing, and they would always go there for EDM shows, and I would always see them. They were always super sweet to me. Like I said, I still had a boyfriend, so it was very much just friends. But Danielle and Emily had said from the night that we met them, oh my god, David is like obsessed with you. He like was staring at you. Oh my god, he wanted to talk to you so bad. Like, whatever. They could just tell. They said they could tell that David liked me from the day that we met them, which obviously I didn't really notice because, again, I had like goggles on. Now fast forward again to December. This is December of 2018, and that was when me and my ex-boyfriend broke up. So me and my ex broke up in the beginning of December of 2018, and I went to a EDM show at actually where I used to work on New Year's Eve of that year. So New Year's Eve, we end up running into David and his friend at this show. So we run into them, and of course I'm being much more friendly now that I am completely single, and I am much more willing to talk to this person, of course, instead of before when I was kind of being a little bit like standoffish. So that night was great. That was kind of like the night that we actually started communicating, talking. We were probably out and hanging out till like 5 in the morning. I don't even know what time, but everything just went really well and we hit it off, I guess you could say. After that, and we continued kind of talking a little bit, I found out that he lived about an hour and a half away from me. So he lived really far. He went to school about an hour and a half, an hour 45 away from where I went to school. But he wanted to hang out. He would always drive here. He never had me drive there. He always offered to come over here. We would get dinner. We would just hang out. Like, totally casual. In reality, he was really just driving all the way over here to hang out with me, which I thought was really sweet, and obviously showed that he like somewhat cared and actually wanted to hang out with me, and I definitely think it showed some sort of liking, so you would think. At the end of January was this thing called Gasparilla, and it's in Tampa, and it's this whole like pirate themed festival type thing, and it's just a really fun thing that people go to and kind of go to bars, dress up as pirates, and just like have fun. Him and his friends were going to Gasparilla and invited me and my friends to go also. So of course, in me and my friends' heads, we were like, oh my god, this is a free place to stay, let's go to Gasparilla, it'll be so much fun, we'll be able to be like with everyone. And of course, since at this point I always accidentally say their names. At this point, me and David were kind of talking, I guess you could say. At least in my head, it's considered talking. So we went to Gasparilla. Gasparilla was a weekend long. I think we just did like a day and stayed over, and that next day we left because it's like pretty much just a one-day thing. It was so much fun, and that was when he kind of started posting me on social media, which I was really surprised about, because my ex would never post me on social media. But he started posting me like on Snapchat and like on his like story and stuff, and I was like, okay, wow, like he's posting me on his social media. This is new for me. Like, this is new that a guy is being really sweet to me and posting me on his social media and seems like he really likes me. Like, I'm mind blown. After Gasparilla, we continued hanging out, and we were planning on going to a festival in South Florida at like in mid-February. It was like the weekend of Valentine's Day, I think, or like the weekend after Valentine's Day. So somewhere near Valentine's Day, we were planning on going to this festival in South Florida, and I had mentioned to him, you should really go, like it'll be so much fun. And I want to say this was right after Gasparilla that I mentioned this, or it may have been right before, I don't know, but somewhere in January, probably like beginning of January, I mentioned this festival, and he immediately bought his ticket and was like, I remember him saying, quote unquote, or close, paraphrasing, close enough to a quote, being like, I am getting this ticket because that means you have to stay talking to me for at least another month. And I was like, oh, he wants to continue talking to me, like, okay. So I thought that was like cute and sweet, and he ended up buying the ticket immediately. It was just me, him, and my friend Emily going to this festival, and he came with us. This festival was actually where my parents live, so he stayed at my house with us, met my parents. It went really well, like everything was super fun, the festival was great, and then he ended up actually driving me back up to school. So even though he lived an hour 45 away, he drove me home and then drove to his house. Like, from South Florida, drove me back to my house, and then drove all the way back to his school an hour and 45 minutes away. So I thought that was really nice as well. Like, he did not have to do that. It was just because Emily left a little bit earlier because she had work on Monday. So he offered to take me home instead of me having to also leave early. And since this festival was around Valentine's Day, the night before the festival, we went to Miami. This is when I got my phone stolen. That was a whole different situation that I also have a story time on my channel about. But we went to Miami that night, and we were like all pre-gaming at his friend's house, and he like pulled me aside and was like, so I have to go to the car to like get something. And I was like, what do you have to go to the car to get? Like, I'm so confused. And he was like, no, like I have to go to the car. And I was like, why do you have to go to the car? And he was like, I got you something. I was like, what do you mean you got me something? Like, what are you talking about? And he was like, well, you know, Valentine's Day just passed, and we're kind of like, you know, we're talking, and I just wanted to get you something. And my heart like was like, oh my god, my heart's gonna explode. I didn't think that he was gonna get me a Valentine's Day gift. Like, what? I knew we were kind of talking, but I didn't think that this kid was gonna get me a Valentine's Day gift. And that's when in my head we went from like talking to talking. I was like, okay, we're actually talking, which the whole talking title is so stupid. It should just be called dating. But in this generation and society that we live in, it's called talking at my age, unfortunately. So I was super excited. I wanted to see what it was immediately. I was like, no, we have to go to your car. I want to see what it is. I was so excited, and I just thought it was the sweetest thing ever. Again, keep in mind this whole time he's been posting me on social media, like this entire time. At the festival, he was posting me on social media. Just every time we were together, he was posting me on social media. So I was like, okay, clearly, you know, there's no other girls or anything, because if he's posting me all over his social media, obviously, unless he has them blocked from his story, I don't know, it's just a good sign, of course, when like the guy is posting you to the public. So we go to his car, and it is this massive, like when I tell you massive, I mean massive. It is this massive stuffed animal, and it was just so cute and sweet. I think it's always so nice when like a guy just gets you the randomest little things. Nothing a guy ever like gets you or gets me or whatever. Any gift never has to be expensive. I think it's just the sweetest thing. You could get me like a leaf and I would be incredibly happy. So he got me this massive stuffed animal for Valentine's Day. I was like, okay, so me and this kid are like talking. I guess like this is where we are in life. My 21st birthday was on March 15th, so we were planning what was going on. It was spring break, and I was planning on going to Miami, and he had said him and his friends are gonna also go to Miami that same time. And I was like, perfect, oh my God, he's gonna be in Miami at the same time. It's gonna be so much fun. It's gonna be all him and his friends and all me and my friends. We'll all go out together, whatever. So this is where the story really gets good. This is where the whole title comes from. This is where it gets juicy. That was just the backstory to explain what was going on. Now, this is where it goes downhill, unfortunately. So we plan that he's gonna go out with us the night before my birthday, or like when it hit midnight. We were going to Story and 11, and he said that he was going to come also. And then the next day we were going to do Fontainebleau, like the pool during the day, and then go to Live at night because Lil Jon was performing. So that was our plan. He was going to meet up with us for like all of that kind of stuff, and I was super excited, of course. The Wednesday before that weekend though, he was already in Miami. I believe it was Wednesday, or maybe it was Thursday. Whatever, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever the case may be, he was in Miami already, so he invited me to go down to the Airbnb they were staying at and go out with him and his friends before it was actually like my birthday and stuff. So I drove down there, I get there, and he was like, I have a birthday present for you. I was like, what is happening? Like, what, this kid, like, he got me a birthday gift? And I was like, you did not have to do like that. Was so sweet. And he knew that I really, really liked like Supreme and like all that kind of stuff. I'm literally wearing a Supreme. I wore this for this reason. I feel like it fit the story. So he got me a Supreme shirt, and the reason that he got the one that he did was because he said he was trying to find a shirt that I could like wear to festivals and shows, and he thought that the pattern on that one fit a festival or a show, which I just thought was sweet because he actually put in like the effort to find a shirt like that. Like he actually put in effort to think like where I could wear this shirt, which I thought was really sweet. Now that night he was a little off. Like he was a little weird, but nothing extreme. There was this girl that also came out with us that night, and he was kind of like not all over her by any means, but she was kind of all over him a little bit, and I definitely said to him like, what is going on? I was kind of annoyed. He knew I was annoyed, and he like apologized 500 times and was like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. Like it was a weird kind of encounter, but it was nothing that crazy. The next day, everything was fine. I left the Airbnb the next day, drove home, everything was totally fine. So once I went home, the next time I had heard from him, so I want to say that was probably Thursday, and then like that next weekend was when we were doing Miami. And I had not heard from him in between those days. From like the day that I woke up and left the Airbnb, I had not heard from him until it was the night before my birthday. Now, me and my friends are in Miami. We are at our Airbnb getting ready to go out, and I'm like, okay, I have not heard from him yet, and he's supposed to be going out with us. I don't care because like it's my 21st birthday. I'm gonna have a good time no matter what, but like at the same time, is he coming, is he not? Like, is he waiting for me to call him, let him know what's going on? I was just very confused. So I end up FaceTiming him to be like, hey, what are you doing? Are you coming out with us? It's like my birthday's at midnight, and it was probably around like 11 p.m. at this point. And he was like,
yeah, like we're going to dinner right now, and then I'll let you know like what we're gonna do.
And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you're not going to dinner. It's basically, it was like borderline 11:15 at night, but I was just like, okay, like I guess let me know what you're doing after dinner. But I knew I wasn't gonna be checking my phone and like hitting him up while I'm out celebrating my 21st birthday with my best friends. He literally was like, happy birthday, and like hung up. And I remember Gabby looking at me, just being like, that's that, that's, put the phone down, that's it, like that's it with that, nothing else, you're not speaking to him the rest of the night. And I was like, yeah, no, whatever, I really don't care less, it's my 21st birthday, I'm gonna have fun, like I don't care. The next story that he posted, I'm pretty sure, was like him in the car with a bunch of girls with drinks, and then like him at a club. So he wasn't going to dinner, he was going out obviously, but did not tell me that. I did not see him that night at all. Didn't speak to him, nothing, never heard from him that night. The next day, me and my girlfriends get up and we head over to the Fontainebleau pool to go lay out, drink, whatever, and that was always the plan. So as we're laying out at the Fontainebleau, this kid literally walks past me. Like, David walks past me with my birthday crown on and all. It is my actual birthday. Like, this is the day of my birth now. This is March 15th. Here we are. And he walks past me. So I look at Gabby, and Gabby is like, no. Like, this is not happening. So she goes with my other friend. I think she went with Brianna, I want to say. Followed him like into the restaurant, or like the area that he went into, walked up to him and was like,
hi.
And keep in mind, David knows Gabby because Gabby went with me to Gasparilla. He also knew a couple other of my friends because the times that we had hung out, they had been there as well. Like, one day we went to the beach, which the beach is like an hour away, and like we all had a whole beach day, which is really fun. So he knew my friends. So Gabby taps on his shoulder. He turns around and is like, where's Nikki? And Gabby's like, why don't you go figure that out? And he was like, what? Like, where is she? And she was like, we're over there. You can walk over and like say hi to her. So me and my friends go to the bathroom real quick, and he walks over and they're texting me like, David is sitting here. And I was like, oh my God, like, here we go. Because I'm annoyed. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to see you. It's my birthday. I don't want to see you. Like, I'm annoyed right now. So I walk over, just like straight face. I'm like, oh, hi. I sit down and he's trying to talk to me. He's like sitting with me. He's like making jokes with my friends, and all my friends are kind of just looking at him unamused. They're kind of like, why are you even sitting here? You know the meme sitting like this? That is 1010% exactly what I looked like sitting on the pool chair. That is what it looked like as he was trying to talk to me, because I just did not want to deal with it. It's my birthday and you have been so rude to me. Like, no thank you. And after that, he was just like, okay, I'm gonna go. Because I think he could just tell that I was like, But before he left, I was like, so what did you do last night? And he was like, hi, I am deeply sorry for the way I look, but I just remembered when I asked, what did you do last night? He was like, oh, just stayed in, like, didn't do anything. And I was like, I saw your story. You went out. Like, why are you even trying to lie right now? And he was like, did I? Like, I went out? I was like, what? And he was like, oh, yeah, like, I think I went to 11. And I was just like, I saw your story. Like, I know you went out. I know you went to more than 11. Like, I don't get why you're even lying right now. But basically, yeah, he like lied and was just like, yeah, like stayed in. And then was like, oh, actually, I went to 11. Oh, I went to 11. I was like, that's weird. So did I. Like, you knew I was going there. And he was like, yeah, like I thought I was going to run into you. Run into you. I thought I was going to run into you. That was my favorite part, I think, by far. I was just like, oh, you thought you were gonna run into me. Like, what? So I was just like, okay, like, goodbye, like, whatever. I couldn't care less. And he was like, are you going to live tonight for Little John? I was like, yeah, that's always been the plan. We were all supposed to go together, but it's fine. So originally our plans were to go to the Fontainebleau during the day, leave our dresses in his hotel room because he was now staying at the Fontainebleau, leave our dresses in his hotel room, get ready, and then go to Lil Jon and stuff in Fontainebleau. That was our plan. But obviously, since me and him were not speaking, had not spoken, and I had no idea what was going on, we could not do that. So after the Fontainebleau, we go back to the Airbnb, get dressed, change, whatever. And of course, I never hear from him like throughout this time. We go to Live to see Lil Jon, and the entire time, like, we're at this table. When it's your birthday and there's like 50 girls, you could get into probably any table that you want in Miami. And we're standing like on the couch of the table, and I look to my right and Gabby looks to her right, and hi, do you want to say hello? Say hi to them. Hi, Bean. So the entire night when we are like at this table, he is staring at us, staring at me, and I'm like, why are you staring? Like, we could have very easily spoken. And I finally get to the point where I'm like, let's go over there. Like, let's go over there. Let's see if he even says hi to me or anything. So me and Gabby go over to like the bar where he, like kind of where he's standing. And his friends say hi to me. He doesn't say hi to me. And finally, I believe he comes up to say hi to me. And I was just like, all of my friends end up coming down from the table and kind of hanging out in that area that him and his friends were in. And his friends kind of invited all of us to go back to his hotel room. So, of course, I was just very go with the flow. I was like, sure, let's go. I'm not talking to him, like I'm not speaking to him, but we can all go back to the room, like if that's what you guys want to do. Not a big deal to me. Because obviously, like I didn't really want to go back to the Airbnb and just do nothing. So we were like, all right, let's just go up to the hotel room and all hang out. Now, this is where it gets like really good. This is just where it takes a turn that I didn't know it was going to take. I really, even if you offered to pay me $2,000, I would not have thought that it was going to go this route. But I guess I just should have seen it coming at this point. So we go up to the room, everyone's hanging out. Like I said, I'm not speaking to him. I'm actually nowhere near him in the room. It wasn't that big of a room, but it was a big enough room to where I could be either inside on one side of the room and he could be on the balcony and I'd be nowhere near him. And that's kind of what we did all night. We just kind of played a game of going every opposite way of each other. And all of a sudden, I noticed my one friend, Brianna, is like, I'm leaving. I was like, what is going on? I was so confused, but I guess no one wanted to tell me in the moment what was going on because they didn't want it to like ruin my birthday because it still was my 21st birthday at this point. So she was just like, I'm leaving. I'll talk to you tomorrow. And she just seemed like in such a rush to get out of there. So the reason Brianna wanted to get out of there so incredibly quick was because started hitting on her, kind of flirting with her, basically insinuating that he wanted to hook up with her. And she got so uncomfortable and was like, you are disgusting, I want to leave. As she was leaving, Gabby is like, I will walk down with you to the lobby, like obviously to make sure that you like get downstairs, okay? And David is like, no, like let me take her down to the lobby, like I want some alone time with her. I want to be like in the elevator alone with you, blah, blah, blah. And Brianna is like, get away from me, you are disgusting, like do not come near me. And Gabby was like, you are not going in the elevator with her. Like it's either me, all of us going in the elevator, or just me and her going in the elevator. You can stay in this hotel room. And then David goes up to Sydney and starts saying all of this stuff to Sydney about like, you know, I think you're like really hot, whatever, is like basically flirting, trying to hook up with her. Also, keep in mind, I am in the room. Like, I am in this hotel room. I am there. He is trying to hook up with my friends in front of me. And everyone is just trying to keep it quiet and like not let me know because they don't want me to be upset and they don't want me to freak out because I would have obviously freaked out in the moment if I would have known. So shortly after that happens, Sydney leaves as well because she is now like, there is something wrong with you, you're disgusting. I want to call Gabby and have her tell a little part of this. So I'm at the part where we're in the hotel room.
Oh, I'm right, sorry, close that. You know, people are like hitting on each other, blah, blah, and you're just like in your own world.
That's what I said. I was just on my own. Like I was.
In La La Land. I'm like,
yeah. Sydney tried to steal one of his Gucci slides. When was that?
No, well, see.
My stupid phone died.
Sid was trying to steal the Gucci slides, bring in the elevator, and it ended up being one of his friends.
Was she stealing it because she was so fed up that he was like hitting on her and she was like annoyed with him?
I just thought, like, I just think she was just so annoyed with everything. We were also, like, we were partying that night. So.
Yeah, it was my 21st. It was everyone's 21st that night.
Yeah, we were, yeah. And she took the slide, and I literally had to, like, corner her. Like, that
in the elevator.
Our slide. That is none of our slides. That is a male Gucci slide. We have to bring it back. Like,
and she was, like, mad.
She was fed up. She was like, why do we have to give it back? Why can't we just take it?
You can't take the Gucci slide.
I'm like, if you're gonna take the Gucci slide, you better get the other shoe. Because
you better get both. Out of nowhere, never hearing from the human being again.
Like ever.
Like ever again. Gonna.
Have fun.
Thanks. Will do. Okay, so obviously that was kind of what happened when it was my birthday. The next day after that whole situation of me now finding out that he was trying to hook up with my friends and all of that, I was in shock, of course, and I was hearing the whole story to me for the first time, and I was just in shock. So the next day, I knew that they were still staying at the Fontainebleau. So in the morning, I had said, because we had to leave our Airbnb. So I was like, okay, we can leave our Airbnb, but we could still go like back to the pool and do stuff, and we could just put our stuff in his room at the Fontainebleau. So I had texted him like, hey, can you open the hotel room door? And he never answered, and I never heard from him again in my life, ever. Like, never heard from him again, ever. Like, not one word, not one word. The last text that is in our texting history is asking him to open the hotel room door on March 16th of 2019. I never really ran into him again, which I was shocked about until Gabby was visiting me at school not that long ago, a couple months ago and I saw him downtown. I remember seeing his one friend, and I was like, Gabby, David is here. David is here. And she was like, what? And he was staring at me the entire time. I now know that he got back with his ex-girlfriend, so he, I guess, ghosted me because of his ex-girlfriend. I don't really know. It seems to be a pattern with me that guys that I'm talking to or dating go back to their exes. Stupidity. But he is back with his ex. I had known who she was because he had mentioned who she was, so I did know that he had an ex that he had been with for a really long time prior, but I obviously didn't know they were going to get back together. That is pretty much the story time of the time that I got ghosted on my birthday in front of me, and the guy tried to hook up with my friends in front of me. I think this is just a new all-time low. Never thought this was gonna happen. It took me forever to film this story time, like I said, just because there is so many parts to this puzzle. There are so many different pieces that I knew it was going to take me forever to film, and I really just wanted to make sure that I got every piece possible, and I think I did. If I missed something that I realized after, I can make a part 2 and kind of tell more about this story, but I think that's pretty much it. We don't follow each other on social media anymore. I believe we still have each other on Snap. I actually don't even know, but I never really see him out, thank God. So I actually just finished filming, but I forgot to say this, and I kind of wanted to mention it, so I'm just gonna insert it before the outro somewhere. But after all this happened, and after I posted my first ghosted story time, I got an email from a big TV company, I can't say who. They actually called me and wanted me to tell this story on TV, and I believe they reached out to David for the show. I can't say what show it is or what TV company it is or anything like that for legal reasons, but they wanted me to tell this story time on a huge TV show and TV network, but David had to agree to go on the show, and I don't think he did. Obviously, I never got to speak to him about it or anything like that. He literally got a phone call from a major TV company asking him to talk on national TV about the fact that he ghosted me. So I can only imagine what was going on through his head. He probably thought I like turned in the story somewhere or like tried to get on the show somehow. In reality, they contacted me about it, they emailed me about it and loved the story, and so they wanted to put it on TV. But yeah, I'll never know what he said or what they said to him when they called. Something very interesting. Anywho, back to the outro. If you have any opinion or ideas, or if something like this has ever happened to you, comment down below, because I love to be able to relate to you guys and go through your stories so we could share the struggle together. If you like this video, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. This is the second time I was ghosted. Thankfully, the only other time I was ghosted. If you want to go check out the first ghosted story time that I have, I can leave that linked below as well. And if you want to just go through and watch some of my other relationship videos, just head over to my channel. There are so many. There are how I found out I got cheated on, my first heartbreak, how I got cheated on part 2, another ghosted story time. You could just binge watch my terrible love life for hours, I promise you. But if you have not already and you are new new here, subscribe and turn on post notifications because I post crazy stories like this all the time. Unfortunately, crazy stuff just seems to always happen to me, and luckily I have a YouTube channel where I can document it all for you guys. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I will see you guys next week with a brand new video. Bye!